Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe community, heart,
Good morning, my folks. Welcome to BlackBook Mondays. We got a great show here coming on. And first, I'd like to introduce the people that are going to be here. We got first here, Mr. Scott Johnson. How are you?
Good morning. How's everybody?
Okay. Scott's a construction developer here in Las Vegas. He's going to talk a little bit about adventures in construction. And we got Mr. Crazy D. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? LordlandFilms.com. Listen, it was a busy weekend, starting out with the interview with Canton Jones over at TC's Barbecue Crib. Then, of course, we went over to the Patty Pennington's all-white benefit, benefiting survivors of domestic violence. We have all the interviews on that. Then we went over to the Stretch Sanders event. You Are Not Alone event for black women.
Great event, Stretch. You did it.
So listen, then we wrapped up the weekend because this was Stellar Awards weekend. All the gospel greats were in town, and we went over to Worship Unleashed over at Greater Evergreen, and we filmed and interviewed all of the next generation of gospel artists. All that what I'm talking about is on LordlandFilms.com, and if it's not edited up, it will be on LordlandFilms.com and also Lordland Films on YouTube. We also want to shout out to Brother Paul from Power 88, Bobby Jones, Kathy Knight, and Black Image Magazine, Kimberly and Charles, who were honored at the benefit.
Congrats.
So look for that, all of that. This is like 2 months of material that we're going to hit with, within this time, and we're still filming more, and then we still have the shows. We just dropped the, what's it called? Nothing But the Facts interview with Rodney Smith. It's one of the greatest interviews that he ever did. He kicked facts on Nothing But the Facts. That's also on Lordland Films on YouTube, so check that out. And everything is coming, so I'm going to send it back to Brian because I am still a little bit tired from that weekend.
You did not sleep, and I saw you out there at the Stretch. Man, you were into it, and we're glad to have a brother like you who is documenting what we do here in Black America. So heads off to Lordland Films. So really quick, we're going to start this thing. I wanted to talk out on my intro. I visited the Ward 5 Candidate Forum. First of all, I'd like to wish all of the candidates well. Hopefully the best man or woman wins, and they will focus on partly on the black agenda. I asked this question when I was there. I said, gentrification without participation is a major problem in the historic West Side. It's the leading cause of increased incarceration, homelessness, poverty, etc. in the black community, and ask one of the candidates, what are you specifically going to do for the black community? Unfortunately, I didn't get the answer I wanted to get that focused on black folks, and part of that is because, I hate to say this, we have been taught to talk minority and not black, and that's hurting our community because we must start to talk about the black community and saving ourselves, and realize everybody else is a little bit selfish because they focus on their agendas first. We need to start doing that. Now I'll talk about this. If we do not have inclusion, folks, the West Side is gone. Well, it's only 40% black right now. It's 40% black, 40% Hispanic, and a major people, the investors, don't look like us who have bought the property. So if you think that it's here, you're incorrect. And this isn't just a West Side issue. This is a national issue. And I use Harlem as an example. Black Harlem is gone. The folks, they told us to move away from Black Harlem, and they ended up buying up the property, sitting on it, waiting till enough of us left, And then the next thing you know, we can't even afford to live there. Does that sound familiar? Historic West Side. So, couple quick housekeeping, and then we're going to go to my man, Mr. Scotty Johnson, to talk a little bit from a black man's perspective, the unlevel playing field in construction. So, quick housekeeping here. If you are a black business and you are not on the Black Book, you are missing an opportunity to promote your business to your target market. So give me a call, 708-805-3819, 708-805-3819, Brian Harris, if you would like to get your business on the Black Book. So here's the key dates. March 26th, tonight at 6 p.m. at Nehemiah. We're going to be creating the objectives and fleshing out the objectives to create a black agenda. Now, again, people ask me, well, who are you? Well, I'm black, so I have the right to create an agenda. Our problem is we've been letting the politicians create our agenda, and basically it's not our agenda. So the key things we talked about was access to capital for black-owned businesses, support of black-owned banks, alternate funding for black-owned businesses, a fair share agenda so that we get a fair share, fair federal and local contract assignments. We've been bamboozled into the minority tag, and that's ended up with nothing for us. We need to increase the minimum wage in a weighted way, a poverty plan. We need to put that together. Education. We need to put more money back into public schools overall. The HBCUs must be supported. We cannot afford to lose the HBCUs by either having them shut their doors or being integrated into the overall college community. Neither one are good. We need a national police review. Guidelines when an unarmed person is shot, not just killed, is shot, then if they meet certain criteria, one of them would be if you have a camera and you turned it off or it was a malfunction, it should go as a federal investigation and it should be leaving the community. Affordable healthcare strategy. One of the big problems in healthcare, which is the same thing across America outside of it, is greed. Greed and litigation. So what we're going to do when you're invited, anybody who wants to come on, including the politicians, come and help us create an agenda that you as a politician can support. And folks, we're nonpartisan. If you are a Democrat, if you are a Republican, if you are independent, if you're a Green Party, if you're a Libertarian, you're welcome to come in and help put this agenda together, because it is not an agenda for a party. It is the agenda for the people.
Listen, Brian, that's what I like about Brian and the Black Book, because you see, it's one thing to just talk about it, but see, he has it on paper. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, sir.
He has something that you can pass out, and what people don't realize is it's very inexpensive to push your signal if you know what you're doing. Like me, for instance, my thing is black and white. I could do full color, anything, but I like black and white because my original logos were in black and white. If your logo is in black and white, you can have a simple fold and you design it yourself, because what I found being in 15 years in retail is I designed my own ads, my own marketing, and then I could take it to someone else after I knew what I said on paper worked. Then I could take it to someone and say, okay, this is exactly how I need it because I know that this works. It's real inexpensive to put your ideas down on paper with a photo, and you know exactly that it works because you see the return on it. You have a crew of people, you have a black and white logo, you put it on the front, put your platform in it, and then distribute it out with your crew of people, and you will see the return on it. That's marketing 101.
Marketing
real
and
simple.
advertising. So, thank you, Crazy D. So, the other dates, mark yourself down. On March 27th, that's tomorrow, at 2 p.m., the churches in Southern Nevada meet at Pearson Center. We're going to have a special guest there, Mark Newman. He is the special assistant to Steve Soroka, who is councilman in Ward 2. I put out a Facebook and said, do you guys know, have you heard about the Quarter of Hope? Folks, I do not have an answer, a pro or con, but you need to know about it. See, I live in Henderson. It's not going to affect me as much as it affects the folks living here. But there should be some questions. The community should know what is the Quarter of Hope and how it's going to affect you. Because I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds good. but let them try to bring it to Henderson or Summerlin. There would be an uproar on what's going on. Plus, if you're going to have a court of hope, maybe it should be built by the people who you're trying to give hope to. Just a lot of questions that we don't know, and this is one of the things that we need to start holding our councilmen and our other elected officials to inform the community before decisions are made. So come out to the Shepherd's Breakfast come out to the Churches of Southern Nevada tomorrow at 2 o'clock and learn out a little bit about the Quarter of Hope and other issues. On the 28th, Shepherd's Breakfast. Man, I get my grub on at the Shepherd's Breakfast. But you're gonna see this is the crazy season. All the politicians are gonna be out there having breakfast. So if you want to come and ask them a question, come on out and ask them a question at the Shepherd's Breakfast. If you need more information, go on the BlackBook and go on the community calendar. It'll give you the address, locations, and time. On the 28th, that night at 6 p.m. to 9 is going to be the Independent Black Voters Group Mixer. It is nonpartisan, my brothers and sisters. It is going to be a party with a purpose. We are doing this at a new black-owned restaurant called Sin City Caribbean Deli and Barbecue. Food's good. I've eaten there. We try to do all of our events at black-owned restaurants because we need to truly recycle our dollars. There are going to be some free appetizers while they last. Then there will be dinners for sale. The owner, chef said that come on out. He's going to do oxtail dinners for sale. So you folks who like some oxtails, come check it out. There's going to be chicken wings. There's going to be a lot of good food. So come on out. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have conscious clothing for sale. Part of the proceeds are going to go to candidates that are willing to speak about our issues. We're going to be doing this every month, and we're going to support candidates because guess what? You can't be a people's candidate if the people don't support you.
And if you've never been to an independent black voters event, believe me, it is a breath of fresh air. People are in there talking about issues that affect black people, not minorities, not this, not that, but black people that were in there. Brian has the agenda fully laid out. All we have to do is just plug in the sensible execution, the ideas of people that will help us execute the agenda. So come on out because it's a beautiful event every time.
And the address, folks, so you know, is 1502 Las Vegas Boulevard. It's over in the Arts District. You have to come in on the side, 1502 South. Not South. 1502 Las Vegas Boulevard in the Arts District. Now, April 8th, Soul Sessions at Raw Remedy, 203 East Colorado, their 5th year anniversary. Come out there, man. You have the youth doing, they're doing singing, they're doing spoken word. Man, I love Bobby and Raw Remedy. So mark your calendars, April 8th. We're still looking for sponsors and we're still looking for vendors that want to sell your products at the Soul Sessions. So now, let's go to Mr. Scott Johnson. We've had a lot on the calendar. Mr. Johnson and I have been friends for a long time. I've seen this man. He didn't come in here with a silver spoon, but he's had the gumption and the courage to swim against the storm, to swim against you know it. He had the gumption to go out and take a chance, take that jump shot, whether he misses or not. So, you know, I have a lot of admiration for people that do that. Whether they fail or succeed, they're out there trying to make a difference. I invited him to come in and just talk to us a little bit, and I call it Adventures in Construction from a Black Man's Perspective, the Unlevel Playing Field. So, without further ado, what's on your mind, Mr. Johnson?
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me in. You've always been a proponent in helping me do a lot of things in the community that we're attempting to do. I don't think people realize the purpose that you're serving right now. You're giving people a dose of reality. A lot of people don't want to hear what you have to say. That's where you have a lot of negative feedback. But we need to hear that because basically the West Side is disappearing. We've seen it happen before. We've seen it in other cities.
Absolutely.
We have to take a stand. And I keep telling people all the time, if you're waiting on your government or other entities to come in and help you do something, you're just wasting your time.
Absolutely.
Trickle down economics, which they've been trying to throw on us since Reagan, does not work. If I got $1 million in my pocket, I'm not trying to let somebody else have it. I'm gonna keep it for me and my family.
And I'm gonna figure out to take that little set aside and give it to my wife.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, us waiting on this golden parachute to happen, it's not gonna happen. So we have to create our own opportunities. And I said I wasn't gonna rant too much today, but I got to get something off my chest right away. The project that we had set up over at the Rouge, as far as the recycling, would have made this community tons of money right now. There's a group over on Cheyenne and 5th Street that are basically, they're taking all the money that we should have had here in our community.
Mm-hmm.
They're over there right now tearing down all the bridges, which we brought up on your show. We told you exactly what was going to happen when I was here a few months back. Exactly what's happening, that's what they're doing right there. The guy that owns the processing plant is already wealthy. He's making money hands over fist because they're hauling all the material out there and paying him for it.
And
that could have been right here in our community.
See, people understand. This is why it is very important that your elected officials that look like you understand that while they support everybody, they got to support us too.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately, if they are not supporting these projects, then we, as far as black people with a vision, with a business vision, we don't have the money, we don't have the resources, but we're out here basically trying to make it with one foot tied behind and handcuffs. And a lot of times the difference between an elected official who's engaged and serious about black people, not minorities, black people being on the playing field will be the determination on whether we live or die,
Scott,
or have any type of participation.
tell them what recycling is.
Yeah, basically, and as you noticed when the Obama administration was in, one of the emphasis was put on recycling.
Yep.
And basically what you're doing, say for instance you got a bridge that's of your repair. So what they do, they decide to tear the bridge down. So in that bridge there's concrete that was used to build the bridge. So basically what you do, you take that concrete from that bridge, you bring it over to your plant, you reprocess it, and you turn it into what they call recycled type 2, which is an aggregate-based material that's found under every building, every sidewalk, every roadway. Because the soils in Las Vegas are so bad, you have to replace the existing topsoil with this type 2 material, which basically allows for compaction. When you get compaction, you got to have compaction like 95% so that you can put a structure on top of it. So basically, they're taking those bridges, taking them over to their plant, recycling that material, and using it again in the process of the new bridges and
And
roadways.
if they had supported you, what type of jobs would have come to the Fifth Ward?
We were going to do 3 shifts, 8-hour shifts. We were going to have at least 6 to 10 personnel on those shifts at that time, making all between $20 and $30 an hour, working 24 hours a day. We could crush for the entire project. You're talking about a 3-4 year project that we could have had over here crushing with legitimate jobs.
And one of the biggest problems were you were hit with more constraints from the city. There were people actually literally working blocks away with you doing the same thing with one permit, where you were being told multiple permits, and you were pretty much locked down from the ability to at least participate on a level playing field.
Absolutely. I had 11 permits for the 3 acres that we were using to process material on. They blew up the Riviera down on the Strip in a highly populated area. They had 2 permits. I talked to the gentleman there. I said, what type permits do you guys have? He said, I have a dust permit and I have a demolition permit. And they got a full-blown crushing. They had a huge crushing operation. I got a little small, we had a small mobile unit that, which we showed the city that wasn't creating a whole lot of dust or matter necessary in that way, or, the trucking. So, it's definitely not a level playing field, but you have to work with what you got. We already know going into it. I've been in the business long enough to know that, okay, I'm fighting an uphill battle. I got to be better than everybody else. I got to come in 3 to 5 times harder than everyone else. And that's just the nature of the beast. When they call us Mississippi of the West, believe me, I've been there. I've seen it,
So you don't need the Mississippi in the West and your own people
Absolutely.
getting at you.
Exactly.
Trying to
I'm getting pulled from both sides. Oh, he can't do this. He's not gonna be able to do this. Well, we had brought to the community. We had a viable project that could create jobs and economics in the community. I mean, all we needed was just, okay, don't hinder us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't hinder us.
Don't hinder. That's all. Just give me the opportunity. I'll take care of it. I'll make a way to get it done. Just don't hinder me.
Now, I want to come back to this, but you're doing some, we're going to come back, but you're doing some projects. You've been involved in some of the gentrification projects that are going on, and you're actually trying to participate as a contractor. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we're working on a few projects right now. One of the big ones that we got off our plate was the Desert Mesa project over in North Las Vegas, right at the corner of Cary and Revere. That was a huge eyesore for the community for a lot of years. We brought some people to the table, got it done. They're building houses. The houses are beautiful. I just went and toured it a couple of days ago. But what we did, the way we got locked into the project, the deal that we took in place is that we have back-end money on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm tied to the project for the duration. When the houses are done, we'll have money that's flowing in to my group, basically forever.
Okay.
So that's just one of the, we gave up something on the front end, but we took it out on the back end. But let me give you a prime example how things work in our community. When I first proposed this project back in 2014, I went to the city of North Las Vegas for approval on the project. Same drawing, same everything, but it was me. Yeah. I go down there, I got 35 people on the other side fight me. I'm trying to figure out, all I'm trying to do is build some houses to bring some economic development into the community and the tax base. You gotta have rooftops. Rooftops generate everything.
Correct.
Without rooftops, you don't have commercial development. You don't have other things. You don't have improvements to the.
Who were the other people on the other side? The 35
people that look like me.
Yeah.
People who look like you.
Absolutely.
Were coming in
They had
and pretty
signs.
much dumping on you.
Yes.
Right.
And
but then when someone else comes in, it has the complexion for the protection.
Absolutely.
And has a name,
See, we just got smarter. We was like, okay, they won't let us do it. Let's try these people. No problem. Community meetings, everything's good. Rah, rah, rah. Bam. They're building. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I'll sacrifice a little money now. I'm getting paid at the deal, and we got the deal done. But that just shows you. When we had the neighborhood meeting, there might have been probably 15, 20 people there. It was all positive. Okay, what are you guys going to do for the community? This and that. Woody, woody, woody.
So when
Bam.
they saw Whiteface,
Yeah.
they loved it.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. KB Homes. They said, that's KB Homes. They got money.
And they
do
looked
this.
like, but the people who were complaining looked like you.
Yeah.
But when they saw the Whiteface, they were with it.
Absolutely. Now, and now mind you, I brought in the same, my partners that were involved in the project. They're very, very well off to be able to do the project. We brought all our financials in, proof of funds, everything, same thing.
And folks, this is one of those problems you'll hear the BlackBook talk about on Facebook a lot is we've got to get back to loving ourselves, and we got to get back to supporting us in front of everybody else. Mm-hmm. We got to basically get rid of the slave mentality.
Absolutely.
Because if masters say it's okay, then we happy. And I'm going to say it that way. But if we're trying to do it, unfortunately, we've got to get the yoke of negativity if we're ever going to survive. Because the fact of the matter is we're being left behind because we are not owners, we are not managing, we are not hiring, and so therefore we are not benefiting as the tide is rising. Mm-hmm. We're drowning.
I'll give you a prime example. When I was in high school, I was working on the annual yearbook. And this is when I found out, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a different set of playing rules for all of us. We were selling ads. I walked into this business with a young lady that was from another high school. We're selling ads right there. We both sat down with the guy's writing the checks. He wrote her a check for $100. He wrote me one for $25 without even blinking. And I'm like, man, this guy, I said, man, what is that all about? Then I found out, I'm like, man, okay.
We devalue ourselves.
Absolutely.
Everywhere we go, we seem to devalue ourselves, folks. And again, this was to talk about a little bit, and I thank you, Scott, about the adventures of construction and the unlevel playing field, but it's also for us as black folks to reevaluate how we treat ourselves. Mm-hmm. We have been fundamentally thought to judge ourselves harsher We are quicker to spend money with something that's owned by somebody else versus ours. We sit on the sidelines to say, well, I'll wait for that black person to succeed before I jump in.
Right.
But we jump in for other folks, and we're happy to partner with people who look like us. Yeah, I said it. Folks, we are on life support as a community. There are people who are going to do great things. They're going to be well off no matter what because they're the chosen few. But until we start back to revitalizing the black community, supporting people like Scott Johnson, we shouldn't be talking negative about any man who is taking the jump shot. Because I tell people, Michael Jordan missed 52% of his shots. But he's one of the greatest players ever because he took the shot. We're not going to hit them all. And we got to stop. Especially if you ain't out there trying to do multi-million-dollar projects, then you ain't got a negative comment you should be making about whether a person, you knew they didn't have it or whatever. We should be supporting the outcome. And you know what? If it goes around the rim and comes off, he still took the shot. So I invited Scott here because, like I said, Scott is unique in the fact that he's continuing to try to do projects and do things. He's not running around here with unlimited money. He's not running around here with the ability to do what some other people can do and not getting it done. He's trying to make a difference and hire people who look like us.
Yeah, and one of the things I do want to emphasize, obviously, I'm not immune to stuff I hear in the community and different stuff like that. But I want to tell people, I don't do black on black crime.
Say that again. Say it one more time.
I don't do black on black crime. I'm here to support people. Prime example, I got people people call me all the time, what's going on with, Councilman Barlow, prime example. There's no way I'm going to kick Councilman Barlow while he's down. Councilman Barlow has a family, he has kids. No way. I would never say anything negative, regardless of our differences or whatever. We may not agree on everything, but I'm not gonna kick that man. That man's got kids. I don't do nobody like that. You have never heard me say or go out here and say anything negative about any of the other people who are working to try to get the root and stuff like that. I don't do that. I wasn't raised like that. We were raised to help. I tell people all the time. A prime example is Reverend Rogers Church up on Martin Luther King. If that church would have been in Arkansas, that church would have been finished 2 years ago. The community would have banded together. See, that's the community I come from. I came from a small town in Arkansas. We all helped each other. Somebody needed something done. They said, okay, somebody throw a barbecue. We all there to help. We wasn't looking for no money or nothing like that. We were just in the help business. My grandparents raised me. We always help people. Anybody came through, needed a meal, my grandfather and my grandmother always there. Didn't matter if you needed water, whatever, you need some money, no problem.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I'm going to say, and I'll say this, one of the things we have to do is go out of our way. We got a lot of black contractors and subcontractors, especially subcontractors. Shout out to Kevin Walker, to James Anderson. They have HVAC companies. We've got people who lease plumbing, who does maintenance. We got a ton of folks. We also need to be.
We got plenty of people.
Yeah, we need to be using these folks on our projects and giving them priority, because even when we build, we don't use ourselves.
Right, exactly.
And we're our worst enemy in that aspect. But I'm gonna take a quick. I got a couple minutes, folks. KCP is doing their membership drive going through April 6th. We can't talk about these issues anyplace else. We need to and must support KCP Power 101, Power 88. We're losing our information highway, our ability to talk to each other. So I encourage you during this period to call in and make a donation. Every little bit counts. Anybody that joins the Black Book as a premier member, anybody who joins I will make from their membership a $25 donation to Power 88 through April 6th. If you mention that I heard about this on Power 88. So again, we got Scott. I thank you for coming on. Again, I thank you for talking. Good luck. I know you got some other things you're waiting, we're going to hear about. But man, much love. And again, Power 88, my family, tune in, support the Black Book.